says workers' rights or workers' wages or workers' anything. It has to be compromised, pushed back, or whatever. But if you look at the projected loss of 1.3 million jobs in Europe, which was the Commission's, the figure that the Commission will report, if that's the case, there's going to be an awful lot of people wandering around with no job for quite some time, because obviously the more lean, efficient companies that will develop will take some time to do so, whereas the less competitive ones will go crash right at the beginning. And then, to make it anyway effective, the people who take up the new jobs will have to take them up at a lower wage. Otherwise it's commodity, right? And Barry, nice sinecure will disappear and you'll end up in a salt mine in Silesia, or not there in Poland, somewhere outside Krakow, or a coal mine in Silesia, working for less money. So, you know, that's the only way it can work. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. So there's a lot of things to talk about. There will obviously be pressure behind closed doors if TTIP comes in the Regulatory Council. There will obviously be pressure in there to bring regulations in Europe closer to the Americans. The Americans have been approached many times to sign up to the ILO conventions, and they're a long time there now, and they've consistently refused, even under Obama's administration. So there's a lot to talk about there, I think. I'll finish up by just saying that I'm also a member of the People's Movement, which is a small organisation, and who knows or is familiar with it, but we were one of the founding members of the TTIP group Barry has talked about. And I don't think you mentioned the 18th of April.
I did.
You did, yeah. I was listening to somebody else. We have a publication which Mary is just here. Mary has some of those publications, Stop TTIP. It's getting a bit old now, so we're sort of thinking we'll have a new one ready for the 18th of April. That'll be one of our contributions, an updated one. And we had a recent manifestation, we'll call it, going on French or something, outside the European Parliament building, and Joan was one of 9 TDs who came to that. That was 2 years ago. But we're going to have one again on the 24th of April, and we're going to do it a bit differently. So if anybody's around the 24th of April, is walking down Moser Street, and they see a crowd outside the European Parliament building, that's us. So Mary will be giving out the booklets. Just like to thank you all for your contributions. So I want to do that anyway. I'd like personally to thank my colleague over here for being part.
Thank you. Listen, thanks very much for coming tonight. It's a bitterly cold night. It's a detailed discussion. It's been a long meeting. Actually, Frank just said to me, how much time we got left, or what time was it? I said 9:15. He said, oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. But I just want to put a question to the meeting. Would you oppose TTIP? Are you for TTIP? And maybe just try and get an idea of what the feeling is after listening to the debate. So who here would be for TTIP? Who would be opposed to TTIP? Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. And I think it's important because I think those dates are very important. If I can get agreement from people, those names and contact details are not going to anybody. It'll only go to probably a TAC or one of those organisations can actually give you the information, and then you can ask to be taken off if you want to, and you've done so in that way. I did want to raise tonight, is there a basis, if there was different NGOs here, that could be a basis of setting up an umbrella like the Climate Chaos Group, that people can start working together and putting their resources into rather than dividing their resources.
Well, the TTIP Information Network is a big umbrella.
Yeah.
It's environmental groups and trade unions and people's movement.
Okay.
And so it's up and running and it's got legs.
Okay. And I'd just like to pose a question, not pose a question, but make a few comments without going into too much detail. Myself and Pat Dunn were at a meeting today at the Crumlin Children's Hospital, where they're setting up the new hospital. It was the concept stage, the idea stage of the plan. And it was funny because we raised the issue of is there private rooms being set up in the hospital? Is there going to be a lot of private consultants going to be in the hospital? What's the whole issue of that? And the CEO, the nurse, and she had gone through the nursing system, so it was good. She had a very good idea of how nursing worked. And she said, funny enough, in children's medicine and children's hospitals, you don't get much private interest because you're giving long-term care to people. You're giving like scoliosis, paediatric, oncology, it's long-term care. And private hospitals and private interest don't do long-term care. It's public that does that care. I think that just really struck me today when she said it to me. It was just so practical from that point of view. And then the other point I want to make, observation, is that there's thousands upon thousands of people who invested in a home with a mortgage at the top of the 240 grand, 300 grand, 450 grand. And they're being told to suck, they've been told to suck diesel now, literally at this stage. You made your bed, so you lie in it. And yet, we're being asked to such a situation where big companies can put money into an investment and it doesn't work, and then they can come back and say, you have to pay us.
Brilliant.
I mean, I just think that's just incredible. I always thought that investing in money was risk. The captains of the industry, the best of them will come to the cream, will come to the top. If you lose money, that's the way it works. And in a way, I think that's what shocked people when the whole banking system fell, was that those who invested in money and expected to lose money were actually paid back.
They were rewarded.
They were rewarded, they were protected. And I think that's what socialising that debt really sickened people. And I think that's the sort of society